Pizza Man is a 2011 film directed by Joe Eckardt, and this one's written by Marco Mannone. Joe Eckardt and John Kapoor, and this stars Frankie Muniz as our protagonist, and we also have Shelley Long, and it's because of Shelley Long that I watched this. She actually plays Matt's mother, Matt being Frankie Muniz's character, and she's in it a decent amount, not as much as I would like, but enough that I'm relatively happy. Unfortunately, the film for me isn't great. It didn't really appeal to me. It sounded really interesting, and to begin with, it was, but then it became something that I just wasn't really enjoying. And I was thinking maybe this is just a personal taste thing. I don't really love it. But then I looked at IMDb and it's got 3.9 out of 10, which is not a tremendously positive rating. But nevertheless, I would encourage you to give it a go if it does sound like your kind of thing and make up your own mind. It's about this pizza delivery boy, Matt, who ends up becoming involved in this science experiment. And it's pretty cool because they experiment on this tomato where they can smash the tomato and the DNA in the tomato is so strong that it can regenerate. It's not immortal. As they explain, it will eventually mature naturally, but if you crush it, if you damage it, it will go back to being a whole tomato. And Matt kind of ends up getting some of this power. And I have to say, the scene where that happened was pretty cool, and the events leading up to that were really interesting. And then the scene at the party soon after, I thought worked really well. It was kind of after that it maybe started to go a little bit downhill for my personal taste. I think they could have made a really fun film. It's very action-driven, and I think they could have lent more into the comedy and made it quite a light-hearted film, but instead they went down a much darker route, and for me personally that just didn't appeal. It didn't work well. That's not to say I don't like dark films. I love dark films, but not with this kind of narrative. I needed this to be quite fun and light-hearted, and while there are occasionally moments like that, they're few and far between. We do have a great cast, though, including Stan Lee, which was pretty awesome. I wasn't aware of that until I started watching it. And the cast is definitely very strong, and Shelley Long is fabulous. I love her, and I'm not going to say I'm glad I had a reason to watch this, but I certainly didn't mind it. I wouldn't watch it again, and that is partly because it's not my kind of film. But I do feel like they could have gone a different route and it might have been better received. But I'd love to know what people think of it. If it is your kind of film, if it does go in a direction that appeals to you, do you think they did a good job with it? Did it work well? Or are you more in line with a lot of the reviews and ratings online? It's an interesting concept. It's not a terrible film. For personal preferences, I didn't completely love it, but I didn't mind watching it. Frankie Muniz is really good in it, and Shelley Long is as amazing as always. So I won't be watching it again. If it sounds like it appeals to you, I'd say give it a go, but whether or not you like it, I really don't know, but I'd be very keen to find out.